with the neighborhood news.
Something we're starting.
We'll just take it. I think it goes from it.
Change the location on the website, or
I put it on the website, the Facebook, and then George put up a sign at the park, but I couldn't get an email out today. I'm sorry. I just called your cell phone too. I'm sorry.
We saw you underneath there. I was trying to come to the park. I was just going over here, so.
well, I was sitting there for a while on the sign. I didn't see it because the bottom wasn't taped and the wind was blowing it out.
Oh,
And I walked all the way over there. I would have liked to know.
sorry.
Not happy.
All right, you ready to call the meeting to order?
Yep, we're ready. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Thank you all for coming tonight. If you haven't signed in on our attendance sheet, please do so. Here's the pen. Okay, tonight we're doing our second live streaming. We have a new microphone and speaker, so we hope that helps improve the experience for live and virtual attendees. So thank you all for coming online and watching us online. We'll start off our first part of the meeting with the treasurer's report. Amy, speak loud.
You currently have $939.93. Pending expenses is the kiosk, which I assume George will talk about later, at $149.27. Also, we will need to reimburse for the microphone. I don't have a number for that.
I'll figure that out. I'll find the receipt.
Okay. Got any questions? Okay, we'll move on to the next then. Lieutenant Wells, the Cedar Rapids Police Department, are you with us?
Can you guys hear me all right? Hello? Just checking, can you guys hear me?
We can't hear
Yep,
you.
we sure can.
Oh, you can. Okay, I couldn't hear any response or anything like that. So, if everybody can hear me overall, well, it's good to see everybody. Or partially anyway. Looking forward to having some in-person meetings, hopefully next month, and get back to some normalcy from that standpoint. Overall, the Cleveland Neighborhood Association is doing very well and related to crime activity and overall crime. When you start looking at the stats, the Cleveland neighborhood accounts for 1.2% of the total crime that occurs in Cedar Rapids, and most of that has been very minor things. Over the last month, in particular, there's been a couple burglaries up on the 16th Avenue area. The Quick Star construction site also had a business up there that had a car stolen from their lot. So those two things are kind of accounted for anything major. The rest of the stuff was what I'd call crimes that just happened within the home, related to assault, domestic abuse, and whatnot. Overall, everything across the board in Cleveland is either at its average or below average for crimes as it relates to assaults, burglary, and well below in drugs and narcotics what it's been for the last year at this time, or same time in the last several years. I don't know if it's been out on the news yet, but there is going to be some July 4th activities that are going to occur in the downtown area. There is going to be fireworks downtown. However, it's going to be limited and not quite what it has been in the past in regards to the streets and bridges being open most of the day. It will be pretty limited. We will start at work at 5 o'clock that night for those of us that are going to be working that event. And I believe the gates or the area will open for observations at 7. And I think the fireworks are scheduled to go off around 9:30. So it's nice to be able to get back to some of that stuff and try to get people out and about. And again, getting back to some normal holiday activities. That's all I have. Do you guys have anything specific for me?
Awesome. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Wait and see what the 4th of July brings.
All righty, then Chief Smith.
All right, well, it's good to be back here in person. I know, and I think I emailed Nicole at about, what, 3 o'clock or something. So, everybody probably knows with the CDC changing, their recommendations last Thursday, I think it was, caught us a little bit off guard. So just kind of been talking through a lot of that stuff. I decided that with that change, it was time to start coming in person. So I know the rest of the city staff isn't here yet. We're still, as a director team, kind of working through the specifics of how we're going to return those who are working from home into the city facilities and then opening in the city facilities. So an email went out, I know, from the city manager to employees today. And so we're hoping by July 6th that we'll be opening up city facilities in some capacity. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. Like I said, we got the news on Thursday, and we were actually in the middle of a meeting talking about some of this stuff, and that's when the KCRG reported that the CDC would be changing it. So again, we're working through a lot of details. Hopefully, I'm sure there'll be some stuff in the news. There'll be some press releases on exactly what those details are. But we're gonna move forward and hopefully be open for business here. We've been open for business the entire time. Hopefully, the city facilities will be open for walk-in appointments, that type of stuff here soon. So, second thing is, from a fire department perspective, we just hired 9 new firefighters who started on May 3rd. So that brings us up to full capacity again. They are currently in the midst of a 8-week training academy. So I don't have the date in front of me, but that weekend before the July 4th weekend, they will be hitting shift and they get full staffing. So we were in desperate need with 9 employees down. That's about 10% of our workforce. Not quite, but knocking on the door 10%. So we're down from shift. So
you break
also
that down, there's 2, male, female. You have some of those.
8 males, 1 female.
Yeah.
So yep, and we had 1 female on the list. So we were fortunate enough to grab her, and we got all 9 great recommendations. Like 2 of them, 3 of them are coming from career departments. I think 1 from Muscatine, 1 from Marion. I think that's the only 2 career firefighters we're grabbing, and then several have good volunteer experience. We have 1 that has 0 fire experience. He's coming actually from Dane County Sheriff's Office up in Wisconsin. So seems like a good group, enthusiastic group, and we're now, I guess this is starting week 3, but the report from the training department is they're doing well. So yeah, excited for that. This past February, I don't know how many of you had met Bethany, our public education specialist. She had been with us for a short time. She had a job offer to go back to her previous employer. So with all of the COVID shutdown and all that type of stuff, it was actually kind of, if there's ever a good time to lose an employee, but it wasn't horrible just because we had backed off so much on our public education risk reduction activities. With that, we are hiring, we have a job offer out and accepted Sydney Henderson will be starting with us on June 7th. So we're gonna give her some time to get her feet wet, and get up to speed, and then we're going to do probably a very in-depth evaluation of what our community risk reduction program is. And we do a lot of the third grade learn not to burn. We feel we really hit the elementary schools very well. We have the Remembering When program that hits our senior citizen community very well, and it has been very successful. We're going to take a look wholesale at what changes we want to make and where we can do our best for fire and life safety in the community. So we'll be moving through that as she gets started with us and gets rolling with that. And the final thing that I'll update is that post-ratio, the city is going through an after-action review. We hired a consultant out of Nashville, Tennessee. We've done 99% of it virtually. The firm interviewed, I think she did over 40 interviews with city staff. And it's a very strategic level look at that. We're in the final phases of wrapping that up. We'll have a draft report here shortly, and the plan is to have a final draft before Memorial Day. So that'll be, once we have that in our possession, then we'll be placing it on the website, and we'll do a media release and that type of stuff. So just looking at what our strengths are from a response standpoint and what opportunities we have. So I think that's what I've got for now. What questions do you have?
Sydney, Brad Henderson's daughter?
Yes, it is.
I thought so.
Yeah.
And that's the gal that's the new public education coordinator?
Yes, yep, she's the new public education specialist. And, yeah, for those who don't know, Brett was a captain with us, and he passed away in 2007, I believe. And so yeah, so it's as tragic of a loss as it is with him. It's kind of neat to have her joining us as kind of that legacy, so to speak, not a firefighter, but the public education arena.
He was a good friend.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, Brett was a good guy.
His mom and dad are close friends of mine.
Okay, okay, yep,
I just saw her Uncle Jimmy just the other day.
okay,
So
okay.
run into him all the time. I heard that she was coming on board, but I didn't know when. That's awesome. We are going to be putting together plans for a Kid Safe program in July.
Okay.
So is Sydney the one we want to contact to?
Yes, and
put the program
send me
together?
the same phone number, but I will. When in July are you looking? Do you know yet?
We haven't got a exact date. We're gonna get a meeting going here in the next month and we'll come up with a number.
Curtis Hopper, who is one of our assistant chiefs, he is leading up the, well, actually, Sydney will be reporting to him. He will be ultimately in charge of the risk reduction. I'll pass that along that you're looking at that in July, and just so that she has that on her radar when she starts, and I'll pass along the Cleveland area
Information.
Yeah, information and email address. So maybe Nicole, once she gets started, she may be reaching out, and then that way you guys can communicate. But I'll put that on the radar.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Feel kind of fortunate with all the trees and everything that were down and drying throughout the year that we didn't have a lot of fire problems with the trees. It was actually after they ground up that they started having fires in the piles.
That one Hiawatha had the problem. That's the bad thing is when you get a pile that big, it becomes very cumbersome to control those fires. And that was the main reason for putting in the burn ban with the recreational fires. So those of you who do enjoy recreational fires, my apologies. I know that they're fun. I know they're a great source of social networking. I know it's a great family event. I certainly have rec fires in my backyard as well. But just felt that one, with the degree we had, especially through early into mid and late fall, but then secondly, just with the number of tarps that we had on roofs all over the city. Just felt that was best, and kind of when we warm into spring, it kind Contractors are back in doing a lot of roof repairs and stuff, kind of wanted to hit that right spot, but I that was a huge fear of mine. Huge fear.
But they managed to really not make it a big problem.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's great.
Yes, and that's kudos to, I mean, that's really kudos to everybody, right? Citizens, Public Works really did a good job of managing that. Of course, the contractors that are in charge of that type of stuff. Thank you.
So the burn ban is off now?
Yeah, it's lifted.
Okay.
So
Good.
within your recreational fire, our guidelines, go ahead and have your, recreational fires and enjoy them.
If you call my wife and tell her, because she won't let me touch things with flames. Have them a year.
That's probably a good idea. There's a few that we prefer, George, so I don't want to do that.
Well, I knew that was coming. Thank you.
Yes.
14 feet.
It's on our website, the specifics of it, but it is about 15 feet and there's some other requirements associated with it that I can't recall off the top of my head.
I can share that in the meeting minutes.
That would be fantastic.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief? Okay,
All right,
thank you very much. Appreciate for coming.
Absolutely.
Okay, our Safe Cedar Rapids, Annette Lorenz has not on anywhere. So we will assume that they're doing their job. If you have any houses or any concerns as far as safety and especially in the housing part of it, if you see some abandoned houses that have some problems, we need to get Annette involved because she can diplomatically solve a lot of problems for us. So keep that in mind. If you see something, let us know and we will pass it on to her and let her take care of that.
And I believe at a previous meeting, she had mentioned there are different rules as far as neglected properties related to the derecho. So I don't have that information, but I can ask Annette for that information. I don't know, Ashley, if you've heard anything about those necessarily policies, but we can share that once I get the information.
Part of really that is taking into consideration as far as trying to remove some neglect. But they'll assess that as they go through the process.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got here when you did because you're next up.
No, I'm just happy to see everybody. Certainly, the mind that although the mask mandate has been modified, I'm really just trying to solidarity and waiting for everybody else to get vaccinated. But there still are going to be healthcare institutions that are going to have masks. There's still going to be plenty of privately owned businesses that are going to ask that you do because their staff has not been vaccinated yet. So just be mindful of that and be respectful of what that business is choosing to abide by. Otherwise, feel free to take it off and be great.
One caveat I'd add to that is just transit. By federal rule is still at least through September, I think, as of currently.
Yeah.
And I know our library is planning at least until they've got a date in late June.
That's right.
That they were to make sure that they're all their employees have the opportunity, and then they're looking at that 2 doses and then 2 weeks out from that is kind of a date. So if you're visiting the library, just plan on you'll need a mask at least for the next month or so.
Chief and I just got off of the public safety meeting before this, and so a lot of people heard the headline but didn't hear the asterisk after that said "and in crowded places." So that "and in crowded places" could be things, like City Hall, for example. Sometimes it can be standing room only, so that's certainly something that we're having a lot of social conversation about to see, what that means as far as getting back into City Hall, as well as some of our public buildings. So we're taking all of that into mind, just trying to make sure that we're not adding to any congestion that could, cause the virus to spread.
Sure. Okay. Speaking about the library, did I not see on the news the other night that the library is coming out with a portable like a bookmobile that's gonna be coming to parks in Cleveland and was named as one of the parks that they were gonna be coming to.
Where's the mobile lab?
Not, this was just through the, right through the, this is through the library.
They were doing some promos last week about, their stuff, but I think that I have to see exactly. I know there was an Instagram post where they were talking about some of that stuff.
Yeah, it was on the news.
That's, well, that's technology, they got money to purchase
Yeah,
laptops and things like that.
Mhm. And they're going to bring them out, so.
Like the bookmobile of old, where it would sit at 15th.
It's gonna be in the park,
Jeff,
and they're
did you-
gonna have
Jeff, did you
different
have
activities.
information
with
on the Roland
computers and stuff
Recmobile
that this
in the
grant is paid
library?
for.
Check out a book.
Yeah, I think you can check out.
Didn't have any on the library. I'm not sure where that's at.
Okay,
I can, I'll just,
this is the article. It says the library's new mobile technology lab is ready to roll. So that's what, and it looks similar in shape, but it's to the mobile or the Recmobiles, but it says Cedar Rapids Public Library. And so basically, it's going to be in a park near you, and it's library outreach. And so, you know, I can send this link here so we can have, but it's basically, to your point, it's saying laptops, tablets, e-readers, also bots, Matthews, soldering iron kits, Rebel kits, crickets, microphones, and headphones. So I obviously need to get up to speed on some of the other cool things that are written there. I haven't heard of those.
really, I was, HR puff and stuff's about the end of my line.
They have definitions there, I just, yeah.
Anyway,
Jeff?
do we have anything else that we have for our council person?
Well, I just said that. You got the link.
Jeff just sent it to me too. Thank you. You guys make a great team.
Anyway, thank you, Councilman Benner. How was running around that scooter?
Oh, really fun. It's funny, my mom's in town right now, and she's like, I heard you were in the newspaper, and I was like, what did I do? And it was that, you know, there had been another article about it, and I was like, oh, that, yeah, I didn't even realize that I got on there.
Infamous woman.
Yeah, well, no, well, I get the virtual paper,
Oh.
so, no, anyway.
You weren't probably looking for yourself in the paper.
I haven't seen it yet. It wasn't like, it wasn't a policy thing, it was just a fun thing,
Yeah,
so.
you did well.
Well,
I
you
was
know,
impressed.
Brad and I had a really fun time. I was encouraging everybody to have their inner child come out, and I said fast noises, you can go faster. I mean, they go 50 miles per hour. Flat shoes is probably better than anything with a heel, just so you get the right balance. When you go over those railroad tracks, you kind of want to go
At an angle.
on and just not really slow down, I would say. But otherwise, it's about $15 an hour. You download the app, you scan it when you're there. The app will also show you how powered up these are, whether it's a bike or whether it's a scooter. And we're going to get some sit-down scooters as well coming soon. But they're really fun. And I would just say, you know, if you haven't yet, you know, I encourage you to wear a helmet. But otherwise, go out and give it a try. It's fun to get some breeze in your hair.
There you go. Okay, with that, we will move on to Jeff Wozencraft. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, George. Yeah, the scooters are a lot of fun. I was a scooter skeptic last year and scared to look over my shoulder, and now I'm a scooter convert. So, yeah, hop on one. Other things I think to mention are for the parks department is looking to hire folks, young ones, to work at the pools. So if you know of anyone that's looking for a summer job, or family friends that may have kids that are interested in working at pools, send them their way. They're doing a fair tomorrow at Knowledge Park. I believe I can send that to you, Nicole. Other than that, not a whole lot else to report for folks that may still need derecho assistance or not sure where to go. Please point them in the direction of Waypoint. I will send that number. It was included in the neighborhood news this month. Other than that, do not have a whole lot else. If there's any,
Does he have a dog?
No.
I thought it was
can you see my dog? She's
just a tail.
chasing.
Well, then no, it's yours as a dog.
Yeah, she chases around, glimmers in the afternoon when the sunlight comes in my apartment. Still a
There you
bit of a puppy.
Yeah.
Um,
What
I-
about do you know anything about the tree removal and removal? What's going on with that?
That was just about what I was going to bring up since I forgot it. The city is similar to how we did for the first and second passes of removal, the tracking through a map. We are starting on the southwest side and probably working our way through. I saw trucks going down 2nd Street here in Kingston yesterday or last week. So they're working their way through the southwest side right now. Stumps are going to start in the near future. I don't know, Chief, if you have any more information on that, but that is a multi-year process. So we know a lot of folks have stumps in the right of way that are looking to and eager to replant. So replanting, we have waived the permit fee for that. We want folks to plant in the right of way and are eager to get those replanted, but we ask for patience as we try and work through all of the backlog of stumps that need to be ground in the right of way.
That I don't have any specific information on that. I know that that'll be starting this year, but just be patient with it. There's obviously a lot of public right of way that have a lot of stumps, and they're gonna kind of like what you would think of the snowplow routes. You know, the high visible areas first, and then kind of work down to the arterials and the neighborhood streets. Is my understanding of the program.
I think there was something in the paper.
I was gonna say, she's high visible, and we waited 3 months to get our trees removed. Because it went by the map that they were looking at downtown, they didn't come up and look, that you missed a 2-block section.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, I wish some of these people that work for the city would come out and see what they say they're gonna do, instead of saying from their desk, this is done, Come out and actually
Mm-hmm.
see it.
So last Friday, we had last Sunday, we had a group come out and tear down the tree, an ash tree in my neighbor's front yard. Much to our dismay, because all of a sudden Sunday morning, there's trucks,
Sunday
saw, and, yep,
at
and they
7:30.
cut this thing down. It was like 8:30, something like that. But they cut this tree down and they put it in the vacant house front yard, because I told them to put them there because the yard they're putting in, people lived in. So they moved it over there, and haven't seen these people since last fall. And 20 minutes after they left, 2 poles in. They're weren't very happy that there was a tree laying in the front yard, but most of it was laying in the right of way,
But
city-owned property.
it's
So-
funny when I asked these people taking trees down, because we had a healthy tree that had no cracks or anything
Right.
go down, and they were telling me how much they get for cutting it down and hauling it.
Mm.
I was like, you took a healthy tree
Yeah.
that had no damage.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Not for the price that they got paid.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, back to my story. So Friday, I'm gone, but my neighbor across the street's retired, and he was home. And they came down and they loaded up half the tree, this truck, and then across the street, they took a stump that had been pulled out. That the trunk, took over, they broke it up. They loaded that up and they left because the truck was full. They came back, they loaded the other half of the tree, and they pulled up across the street from our house where this another stump is. And they said, neighbor come out and said, oh, you're gonna get that? I said, well, no, we're going to lunch. Now they're 5 feet away from the stump. It's 10 minutes to 1. They've cleaned everything up on the street except for this one stump. And they said, we'll be back after lunch. But if we're not, we don't know when we'll be back to get this tree stump. Now, think about it, folks. You're right here. It's right there, all ready to go. You just gotta pick it up and put it in your trunk like you did the next door down and go to lunch. take it to lunch with you, buy it a sandwich. I don't care, but why would you leave it? The only thing on the block, the only one left on the block.
But if they have certain times, you know, sometimes you have a time limit
Mhm.
and you can't go over it, or you know.
Restrictions on those trailers?
The trailer wasn't full, it wasn't even half full.
It could be a weight.
It was empty, basically empty. So the truck was there, the room was there, the people were there, and my neighbors, they said, well, we're going to lunch and we'll come back, and my neighbor let them go, and I said, never let them go. When you got them there, say, take this to lunch with you, get it out of my ground. And now I had to call in the Parks Department this morning, and they were calling, but they said, we're at the mercy of the contractor. We can suggest and put a B in there, but we can't make them do this. So he got the information from me and passed it on to it. So it's very frustrating that they talk about how long it's gonna take. Well, when they only do half the job, it's gonna take twice as long. And any sane person in this town can see that they drive down these streets empty and there's stuff on both sides of the street needs to be picked up. And they just go on down the street. And I'm not talking about stumps, I'm talking about trees and stuff that are still part of the derecho. It's like they're going here, then they're going there, then they're going there.
They're also getting direction from someone else.
Well, who?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I see what you're saying, but they also are working for someone else that, you know.
sure, the city contracts.
There's a
them
long
with
line
what
of
they do.
communication and
Yeah.
people to
Yeah.
follow, yeah.
But it just doesn't make sense to me watching them drive around town empty. And let's clean up the main line where people see, like on 8th Avenue, First
Did you see
Avenue.
that tree on 8th Avenue? I don't know. We walked. 8th Avenue had a tree, a little tree, hanging over the sidewalk for, I don't know how
Since
many
last,
months.
well, yeah, since last August until last week.
So you can't walk on the sidewalk. So the other day it was propped up and then it was gone. It was like, I mean, it was a danger thing because you had to walk in this, I mean,
Get around it.
We think maybe the owners must have done it.
I just wondered if you from the city understand, or you people know how this process is working, that they do this one, leave this one, and go on their way. What's the process? It was marked, it was tagged, they busted it all up, it was ready to load, and they were not full, they weren't even half full on the truck, but they took off for lunch and never came back, and my neighbor's a little frustrated that why have them sit there, and by the time she got done telling them they were on lunch, they could have loaded.
What I would say is that, you know, I appreciate that Terry, the tree that was removed, that there was a between some of the stuff that's partially done and weeks in between. I think it was your family again that was talking about, you know, that we were skipped and then they came back and then this is when we got that tree that didn't take in. So, I do pass all of that feedback along, and certainly this was the only neighborhood that had said it. I would think that it was an anomaly, but there's obviously in my head, at least between so many different people, and I don't know how much turnover there is or what the communication is like, but it's almost like it's shift over shift that isn't necessarily communicating with one another, like where they left off, to then let them know where they need to come back to.
Well, the comment that I got when I talked about it was, I hear this all the time, it's all over town. They do 3 houses and they leave the 4th, and we don't know why they leave the 4th.
Right, and this is, I would say this, anytime I hear anything like this, certainly the city, and I would say, not just you, but and not just Jeff, but I would say anybody who works for the city, we really do have a demand a high level of excellence. And so I expect that as well from those that we contract with. And I don't think that we have that yet in this case. And so, you know, some of the things that would be helpful is to bring this up and try to identify this issue. It's a little bit harder when we contract it out. But at the end of the day, we're still required to take the lowest responsive bid. And that kind of holds our, ties our hands a little bit.
Jeff, did you want to comment?
Sure. I think our staff with forestry and our streets department meet regularly with the contractor. But given the scale of the derecho, I think it's very likely that there are gaps that happen as these things are occurring. So my suggestion would be just to communicate. I know you're doing that, but the information back to city staff. I know our city forester goes through the MyCR submittals regularly. So if you know of these instances where something was missed, or there's seems to be a lapse in communication of contractor crews, identifying it and providing that information through the application, or you can give me a call and I can run that through. But these are extremely helpful, and the photo is very valuable evidence, I think, too, in these cases, to help better inform the crews as to what's the size of the tree, what is it, the stump, is it. So I think these things can vary the process. I'm not a sawyer of any sort, but I think the more information that we have on these instances, the better we can address them.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Do you have anything else, Jeff? Okay, thank you very much. So moving on to our next is the Safe Fair update. Susan Johnson talked to us at the last meeting, said they would like to have it sometime in July. She's been busy, we've been busy, but we have to get with her in the next week or so and sit down with the group.
Got a committee scheduled, I forgot what that is.
Okay.
End of this month or some part of
All right.
June.
So we'll have a meeting. I'm sure we get invited to it also. And we'll plan out what we're gonna do, and then we'll get in touch with the departments, the police, the fire department, and who we need to get involved with to put this thing together this summer. We're hoping to have a good one again. So much like we're deciding to keep some of it, change some of it, maybe take some away and add some new safety feature that we feel is important at this time. So that is where we stand on that meeting coming. We'll get back to you probably at the next meeting, what's gonna happen. We have allotted in our budget a certain amount of money to put towards this from the neighborhood association as far as participating with this. So I don't know how much we put aside with it, but there is money put aside from our $10,000 specifically for this. So the butterfly garden, Rose, Gail, and you guys were always
And
on that
Cheryl.
group, and Cheryl's not here
How long have
tonight.
you been out there?
Denise, okay. Update us on what we've got going so far with our garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Cheryl said the
growing.
cone flowers are kind of taking over. She was suggesting.
Oh, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Just if you saw that square that's dug out up in the corner, they moved the Lincoln Highway sign from the park down here. It got blown over and they can't put it back because they'd have to make it ADA accessible to do that. And they put a lot of money in that little square. They're not willing to, so they have the agreement to go and they're gonna put it up there, in the corner of the park.
You're talking about this square here at
Yeah, the
Johnson.
triangle,
That
yeah.
little,
the
yeah.
triangle park down here, that was Haskell Park, yes, thank you very much. But they're gonna move that up here on the corner. And so, and then they said, if we wanna put some flowers around the bottom of that, that's acceptable also.
So the butterfly garden, been just cleaning it out, and then Cheryl got the grasses out, and it's growing and bloom.
Good, it'll bloom. So, good. So anyhow, so we'll have to look at seeing if, Denise, maybe we can get with you on flowers up in here and work with the city.
I'm doing a planning by the summer. I'm not planting anymore because of the water issue.
Okay, that's fine. We'll have to figure that part of it out. An easier way to get water to it. So,
But thank you guys for doing that. It looks clean and wonderful, and I'm excited to see it grow.
always beautiful when they come to the park to see that one that bloomed out.
It's very welcoming.
Yes, it is. Okay, paving for progress. Right now, it's our areas, it's affecting the 20th Street in Chandler. And project started 4/19/21. Neighbors have received communication from the PERC 2 bid construction where we're doing the work. We have regular updates on our website and Facebook page, information on this. Latest update from the city on 5/4 water main work in the north section of Chandler and 20th will be completed by 6/4/21. Access to the neighborhood will be maintained via the south entrance and one-way traffic southbound on Chandler southwest. So they're going to put in the water mains, and according to what we were told, they're narrowing the streets down a little bit. And that's concerns of some of the people who live up there because they feel that it's too narrow now, and that's going to be a danger to people because of the crest of the hill and not being able to see what's going on. So we were going to probably drop the ball on this. We were going to get someone from the streets paving progress to come to our meeting and talk about that concern, because that is a valid concern. So we'll get with one of them and get it possibly to a June meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
get some
June
answers.
would be good.
Any questions on Chandler? Okay, rolling recmobile. We're running from June 7th through August 14th. It'll be in the Cleveland Park on Wednesdays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 2 to 3. We have Facebook events that have been publicly shared on our Facebook page. So it's nice. So, I'm glad that they've moved the time from 10 to 12, 10 to 11:30 during the middle of the week. Not a good time, but in the afternoons, at the time frame they're talking about, is when our park is very busy, from 4:30 to 6:30. We have a lot of sports activities going on all summer long, and on Saturdays, 2 to 3 is when the afternoon fun activities are going on. There are a lot of people there, so it's going to be there in a prime time, which I think will really boost the participation into it. So,
Have you seen the park lately? I mean, it is crawling with people.
It's very busy.
That's like, wow.
it is really, and I thank you and all the people that are out here supporting our park, doing the things that we're doing, because it shows the city, and I've been told this by members of it, is we show so much concern and care about our park that the city shares that with us. If we sat back and complained and didn't do anything about our park, we'd be just like a lot of the other ones. Some of them don't have support at all. Some of them that do expect the city to do it, but we had a cleanup, and we went out after the derecho and cleaned a lot of stuff out and moved things out of the way to get our park accessible and usable. And they recognize that. So they've done a lot to clean our park up, get rid of the tree stumps and the big pieces. And now on the 22nd, correct me if I'm wrong, but Denise, but I was told that on the 22nd, they're going to plant somewhere between 40 and 45 trees in the park.
That. 22nd. My understanding Boy Scouts or Eagle Scouts project.
Are they? Okay. So we are going to get our trees here in a couple of days. They will be out planting 40-some trees around the outer perimeter of.
The Scouts have enough help?
Well, they didn't ask us for help,
Or?
but it might be kind of nice to show up to see if they need some, because I don't know if they're gonna mulch that day, they're gonna put water bags on some of the trees or all of them.
Where are they mainly going to be going in, more towards First Avenue?
He sent me a sketch and I haven't looked at them. I think there's gonna be a lot of red buds and understory trees to supplement the slow growing big ones. And, so that sounds like a lot of trees, but eventually they'll probably, some of it gone. Just by the sign, they're putting 3 redwoods, you know, so.
Well, where's the mulch coming from? Are they bringing it or who's supplying it?
Oh, the city bring it.
Yeah, the city mulches every year up there.
Well, we always mulch the butterfly garden.
I know, but
Yeah.
for the trees, the city
Okay.
always mulches.
Mhm.
And I think we have a good supply of them.
But ain't burned, bring back. So anyhow, on the 22nd, we're going to have a mass amount of kids out there in the park and they're gonna put trees in. And it sounds to me like it's gonna be the red buds, we're going to support, they grow faster than the oaks and sets it. And so they'll mature quicker and eventually will be replaced by the oaks when they get big and tall. Probably not in my lifetime, but,
Do you want cookies or anything for these
That's
kids?
what I was thinking, maybe.
I was just gonna say, we should bring them treats.
there you go.
Great minds think alike, yes.
Cold water and some snacks.
Yeah.
So why don't we?
Try to check.
You bet.
I think the group also do.
I volunteer to sample them.
Perfect.
All right. We need a leader in that area and boy, I'm glad you took it.
I have a, oh.
Water and chips and,
Yeah.
and some snacks and, as much as, the city is doing for us, maybe we could have the group here.
I would actually say maybe see if Hy-Vee would just be willing to donate some of their frosted sugar cookies too. I'm sure they'd be,
Excuse me, homemade is better than.
okay, understandable. But maybe Hy-Vee would
It
be
used to
interested
be,
in donating.
IV made almost as good as Mother, and now his mother makes it almost as good as IV.
Or they might just be willing to donate a bunch of bottled water or something.
Now
We
they're
won't
back
know unless we
to,
ask.
now they're back to, it's almost as good as what Mother makes at home. So anyhow, just grab some cookies and bring them over on the 22nd, and some drink. And-
I might just confirm, because they already changed the date once.
Mhm.
Well, I might just confirm, I guess, then tell you what I know.
That's what I talked to this morning, he was telling me that, so, okay, if you wanna make cookies, we'll get some cookies and we'll bring them over and we'll get drinks, water, from a couple of cases of water. So, ooh, and ice, I got ice at the house from the party Saturday, so we should be good to go. Okay. And we did talk about the quick star update. The concrete is complete and they're working on the gas pumps and interior work at this point. We're unsure of their opening date as of right now, but as we said at the last meeting, they're putting in a turn lane on the 16th Avenue because they said that the traffic difference will not be enough to justify a light at this time. So they're going to watch and see. We started having a lot of accidents. I believe that they're going to probably upgrade. But right at this point, it hasn't really changed that much. They said when school gets out at night is when the biggest flow is going to be. Coming in is not a problem. They will wander in and, throughout an hour's time, but going home, they all get out at the same time and they all head the same direction. So we'll see how that works out for them. And once they get up and running, Galen, you said that they have a neighborhood program
Yeah.
that you'll pursue once it takes up in there. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, Nicole, we'll leave those last two up to you.
Back before the holidays, we had talked about getting yard signs printed just to promote the neighborhood association. And I did get a quote from Allegra Printing. I've only gotten a quote from them purely because I'm interested in applying for their printing grant. Basically, they give certain nonprofits printing credit to spend within their business, and I would assume they're more likely to give it to someone who actually does business with them. Typically, we just print our own materials because we obviously have a printer, but with it being oversized, I had gotten a quote for 10 double-sided black and white yard signs, and they had said that the quote would be $161.97. And then this is just like a basic design we had drafted up. Obviously, it doesn't need to be fancy, but just something to obviously promote our ways of contacting us and following the meetings, the events, keeping people engaged. So previously, I guess the organization, all of us, said that we'd be willing to spend up to $100 on these. And obviously, with it being a little bit more expensive, my husband and I have talked about it, and at this point, we're comfortable covering half of that. So we'll be donating $80 and change, and then obviously Canada can just cover the rest. So we'll be under our approved $100 spend. So if anybody's a graphic designer and wishes to create something more beautiful, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, I'll be getting these ordered in the next week or so.
Are they that size or bigger?
No, they're big 18 by 24. They'll have the H yard stakes. And I would hope that we can find neighbors in different areas of the association boundaries that are willing to put the signs in their yard, just to get a little bit more reach. So that's the plan. Does anybody have any ideas or questions on that?
With the fact that we still have a lot of money in our treasury, I think that we can stand to go ahead and cover the difference of the $100 to the $169. So I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and cover the whole cost of the yard signage. Nice. All in favor? Okay, so you don't have to do
Okay,
that.
works for me.
Okay, and on that same note, the kiosk that we talked about last fall, before the derecho hit, we were gonna get a kiosk and have it. The kiosk is in my living room as we speak. It's 6 pages, 3 pages down, up and down, and 2 wide. So we have enough that we can put the minutes of our meetings, we can put city information, park information. So, it's locked up, it's waterproof, and once we get it mounted in there, we'll be able to, provide information for the people in the park to come and see what we're all about, what activities we have going on, and, help with the city schedule and people in the park. 'Cause not everybody lives in this neighborhood, but they sure like our park. And if they know what's happening, they'll come back.
Where is that gonna be placed?
And around the shelter, on the wall of one of the shelters, whether it's underneath or on this one side, we don't know yet. I gotta get with the city to see where would be a good place to put it. That's, anything.
The cost for that is $149.27.
Right, so we had already approved to buy that, and so I just presented the bill on it, and just to let you know that it is in-house, and as soon as I get a hold of Tyler, we get a location up, we get that put up, and then I'll get her a key, and I have an extra key, and then we can go ahead and start putting the stuff inside of it. So, put it in a high traffic area so people can see what's going on. You know, even just a few of the rules of the park about dogs and litter and, you know, how you can use the pavilion, the system of that, plus our information. So, and we can update it as often as we want. We have the keys. So we can promote what's upcoming events and let people know, and it'll work out well. If I'm being redundant, I'm sorry. So, and last but not least, at this point, Nicole, we're talking about your plan for business.
Yeah, so at the previous couple meetings, we had talked about doing a basically like just a fundraiser where businesses can make a donation to CANA and in exchange have information about their business as well as their contact information on our website as well as our social media. I did get a draft of the, I guess, fundraising proposal to share with businesses drawn up. And I did have Jeff Wozencraft send us a list of all of the registered businesses in our neighborhood boundaries. And there are significantly less just because they're not home-based businesses that are listed on here. So I'm personally working, trying to figure out as many of the home-based businesses that are in our area that we can include. So originally my goal was a little bit higher with 60 businesses being listed on there. I've lowered that goal to 40, but I'm still confident we could raise about $2,000. I feel like it's a very easy ask where people would be very willing to promote themselves. And obviously it's just helping us keep businesses in our area. So I don't have a specific contact campaign yet, but my workload at my day job will be lessening significantly in the coming weeks. So I'm hoping to spend a lot of time this summer working on this and just generally fundraising for CANA. So if anybody knows of any businesses that are home-based that are maybe like neighbors of yours, or just somebody you know that would even want to support our neighborhood and they're outside our boundaries, let me know, because I would be more than happy to connect with them. So, and it doesn't have to be now, just anytime is fine. Any questions on that?
Make sure we're on the list for that too. My office is
Sure.
now by Perkins, but still, obviously.
You've got a vested interest, yes.
So,
Cool.
Are the churches on that?
I don't know if the church is on there. Yep, there's a couple churches, or at least 2 listed. So, but I'll also, if any other businesses or things come up, I'll add them and I'll probably present who I've actually contacted at the next meeting, so.
does anybody else have any other business?
That's something I'd like to share.
Please.
Okay, Master Gardeners and Hay Tappers, again, we share a little program for, gardeners that have extra produce to put in a pantry. I'll give you one of these, and we'll keep some of these cards in the little library, but, if you have extra produce, there's a system, they kind of like to log it, of course, bureaucracy, but, it's a promotion, and then on the back side, people that are food insecure, this website gives the pantries that are available to them, which can be helpful for, what's closest or where they can get a ride. Good program.
Thank you. We have to get with the school about the summer.
Yeah.
You want to get with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Or, no, because I don't have Mary Ann's contact anymore. They have a new person. Maybe Nova's still there, but. Any other business?
One comment, Rose's brothers were all back in town a week ago Saturday, and we took them up to Mount Trashmore. That's awesome.
Great place to watch fireworks, wouldn't it?
Oh, man, I mean, that is just, it's well done, it's, I mean, the views are amazing. Talk about it.
Spirit, Cecilia County, but we collaborate, and we're obviously, 75% of the tax revenue base is Cedar Rapids County. So, and certainly we've got council members on the
Yeah,
And actually, it's the Lynn County Cedar Rapids Solid Waste Agency that, you know, part of that's the funding of it, so it's kind of neat that that's turned into something that's, you know, so it is.
No,
We used to go up there when they were filling it. It was a beautiful view.
Yeah.
So now I know it's gotta be great up there.
If you're super interested in a very challenging remainder of the competition or the challenge, they do have that, to scale 140 times of climbing Mount Everest. And there is a promotion, a challenge really for $35 to do this, as part of like an event. I would say though, there's only, I just looked it up today and I was like, actually, I don't think you need to do that. It's like 157 days left. So I'm saying like, you're talking about doing that every day.
Yeah.
Or a couple of times a day. Anyway, if you think about that, if you do that 140 times, that's the.
Yeah, Mount Trashmore in Virginia.
I know there are so many.
Oh my gosh, it was a beautiful park. It had swings and it was, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We've actually got a board meeting tomorrow. I set up the board, and so I'll pass that along.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
Cedar Rapids,
Exactly.
Cedar Rapids has a lot to offer, a lot of stuff that is now coming into its own.
Yeah.
And we really need to get it out for other people that come into town to know that it is happening. We've got great things here, and here, but we just don't have it glued together just yet. And I know you guys are working on it, but, the new Bow Market area is really coming along. And it is so busy and so exciting down in that area. And the old Czech Village that they're working on and the berms and the Czech Heritage, Foundation and the museum are always a go-to for it. But we have so much other stuff that's happening in our downtown and along the river area. Excited about the whitewater rafting. I saw a thing on, I don't know what it was the other day, it showed the new park here they want to put around the tree. And when you look at the tree from here to the river is this big, but when you look at the picture, it's this big. I don't know how they're gonna do that. But it's a lot farther away where this edge is on the picture than it is when you look at the real thing. But that whole part of the river, really putting it together to make it much more of a part of the city is really gonna be a draw for us. And you know, they said that the first block, area where the casino was supposed to go is now part of Big Grove and a hotel and a whole amusement area. If we're voting for this license application approval for a casino, where do they think they're gonna put it?
So that still remains to be seen. There is just, they're gonna have to get a licensure, so, you know, if they're successful, then I think the city is offering them plenty of ideas of available space, but, I would say too, I'm very familiar with the First and First West project. I was attempting to recruit Big Grove, knowing that they needed some bigger room for expansion, for several years now. And I will say that for the betterment of the city, maybe better placement, I did kind of forfeit that idea from my district, but I do think having it downtown will be great. I just am a little bit, I'm trying to find some other great ideas to sort of bring back over in like the West Hill area and things like that. But, yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. I'm still really trying to rally for a pedestrian bridge next to parcels. I hope I'm successful. I hear that idea kind of picking up some steam, but that is really, if it's successful, know that it was based off of the equivalent of Central Park in Sao Paulo, Brazil. They have a really amazing park there, and I celebrated Christmas there. A girlfriend of mine was living there, teaching Japanese, and it's very wide. It's like a full, like a lane highway. It's wide. And it's just so seamless across this massive highway structure. And it's, you know, and it's very easy for ADA and everything. And you just walk into the park and you never even realize that beneath you is like an 8-lane highway. And then you go into the park and it's so there's a lot of ideas that were so cool there that I'm trying to kind of bring back and inspire a little bit of things. But I'm hopeful there. We would have to consider some of the height issues, you know, with a lot of transport on First Avenue, but I still have a lot of hopes for that.
Any other business?
Yeah, I want to know, what's the name of the person at the city that coordinates the neighborhood associations?
Jeff?
That is him. Okay, that was.
Jeff, are you there?
Yep, that's me.
And if you ever want to see Jeff just with a perma smile, go scootering with him. Smiling.
Denise, do you have a question for Jeff? She might have a question for her, Jeff.
Well, not tonight.
How can she get a hold of you?
I can chat Nicole my phone number and email, and feel free to give me a call or email.
Okay, thank you. We'll get that to her and then she'll be calling you down the road. All righty?
And don't be shocked if people start asking you to go scootering, because Ashley's over here talking about you being excited about scootering.
If you pay my fare. Just kidding.
Thanks, Jeff.
City employees get a discount, don't they?
I'm not sure. I have to follow up with the Vail Ride folks.
No, you don't.
All right, any other business? Otherwise, we can say we are adjourned.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for coming.